right, hello everyone.
How's it going, guys?
It is episode number 44 with Bethanny and Sparky.
Oh, God. I'm stretching, sorry.
You okay? You ready?
We had In and Out today.
Okay. With Ask the Puppy Trainer Show. Ask a Puppy Trainer? The Puppy Trainer? Which one is it?
Ask a Puppy Trainer episode.
Wow, no
44.
more food before the lives. No more
Speak
food.
for yourself. I had 2 burgers.
Oh my god.
It was great. I'm a food baby, guys. We're
All
gonna
right,
make
guys.
this happen.
Welcome. We're going to jump right into our questions, but you guys know if you do a question, we would like to know the age of the puppy
And
the
breed is
breed
nice.
of the puppy. And it's not that we won't answer older dog questions, but we really want to stick with under 1 year old. And if we have enough of those questions, we will not answer adult dog questions.
We don't have that many questions today, so we'll take pretty much anything.
Because yes, we do. Look at that. We can
Yes,
make
we
2
have
hours out of
6.
that right there. Okay.
Probably could. We could.
Dusty, get over here. He's looking for French fry droppings because of you.
I didn't drop it for him. You just happened to get it.
All right, from Sound Grace, she says, "Hi, Luana again, Cavapoo, 10 months old. Woo! Look at you listening to the rules. Thank you very much." She does leave it command maybe 7 out of 10 times if I put treats gently in front of her. She normally looks at me and waits. That's when I give her the treat from my other hand. Pick the treat from the ground and give it to her. So that means you're teaching leave it as something that she can sometimes have access to it.
You're teaching more of wait.
Yeah, you're
leave
teaching
it.
like a wait or a stay, and then you get to have it. Leave it means leave it. You don't get it, and if you turn your head away, then you get a treat from my hand.
Mm-hmm.
It's really semantics. You can make leave it mean whatever you want. You can make it mean go for a walk. We don't care. We just want to make sure that anyone out there listening kind of has a good idea of generally, if you use leave it, what it should be used for. The issue is that she knows that if she moves quickly, she can get to the treat before I cover it, and she doesn't want to wait very long. If I drop the treat above her head, she doesn't listen. I was cutting an onion the other day, fell on the ground, she jumped to it. How can I train her leave it no matter what? Well, you have to make leave it mean no. We don't do a lot of leave it.
I taught leave it to my dog because my father was on like Vicodin and like prescriptions that if a dog eats it, it's toxic. So pretty much we made it so anytime leave it came down to the ground, they couldn't go for it no matter what.
Why didn't you just use no?
I used both. Also, I didn't use a lot of no's back then. This is 9 years ago, and I focus more on leave it. Preference now, though, is we throw in a hard no, and if you want to condition leave it, no and then leave it. But it's not just no and then leave it, it's no, leave it, spatial pressure, body block.
Move
also,
it, claim the onion sound.
Claim the onion, claim the space, but it's not just that. Also, I want to hear things like, I have a leash on my dog. I have a boundary at the kitchen threshold. For me, dogs don't enter the kitchen when I'm cooking, because what if you turn around with a pot of boiling water and you trip? Everyone's going to avoid hurting their dog, and they're going to maybe splash some on themselves.
So first, hopefully your kitchen is set up to where this is kind of easy, but there's an invisible boundary that your dog doesn't enter into the kitchen. And so that way when something drops and they take a step or two, there's still 3-4 foot of space for you to be able to control that. The other thing I would say for anyone teaching leave it is being able to put stuff on the floor is definitely more of a advanced version of it. First, you just need to have it in your hand, and the dog learns that when they back away, that's when they get the food from the other hand. In our view, I think our view, we don't talk about leave it a lot, but with leave it, it means you never get to have it, ever. You get to look at me and get food from a different place, but you never get to have what's on the ground. I might pick up that food off the ground when I'm working on leave it and then go sit down, come good, and then give it to them. But they never make that association. That way you can use it more appropriately. I think
Can we layer on to what you just said?
Yeah.
Because she's doing the same thing. She's picking it off the ground and then giving it to him. The reason she said pick it off the ground, come sit down, stay, and then give it is short attention span, 1.34 seconds roughly.
Yeah.
For most dogs, puppy or adult, they learn off of muscle memory. When she did 5 or 6 commands after picking up that food, it no longer was associated with the leave it command on the ground.
Right.
It was associated with commands and then redirection.
That's good. Good unpacking.
I gotta look for something to get you for.
The other thing I would say is just that when you use leave it, even though here's the thing, I understand you don't want to be saying no all the time. And I do think that in our culture of saying no all the time to kids, to people, just in general, we say it and yell it a lot, it can get desensitized. So I'm not dogging leave it too much. I think it can be a great tool for some people. Just keep that in mind, that you never want it to be something that they get access to again. Stick with that, and stick with putting it on the ground, walking your dog by it. When they go for it, leave it. When they don't, leave it, no. And then they look to you for food. So there has to be some sort of reprimand for a 10-month-old dog in order to do that. But really make sure, put a handful of delicious chicken in your hand. And when your dog sniffs your hand, freeze and say leave it. And see if your dog backs up and sits and looks at you. If you don't have that back away, then they don't really understand the concept of it. And so you might have to do some reproofing, bare bones basics. Okay, let's move on. Is that good? Is that good enough? Okay, all right. I'll do the other long one and you can have the short ones. So Michelle from Create a Daily Puppy Schedule from blog. From the blog.
This is fun.
Woohoo! All right, 13-week-old puppy. So this is a baby puppy. We brought him home at 11 weeks. We've been following your wonderful schedule. Thank you for that. We take him out the same door every time to potty. He'll go sit by the door sometimes during play time after he's successfully pottied following crate rest. So we take him out. He sometimes potties, but it's only a little bit. We think he might be sitting there just to go outside. This is our issue with the potty bell too, if that starts to happen. We also don't want to discourage him from doing it. Suggestions would be helpful. I think this is a simple one. You're doing a great job. And I'm not saying it's bad that he does that. I was just throwing in the, anytime we can jab at the potty bell, we do it. Even though it works great for a lot of people. But anyway.
I don't like it.
Yeah, he hates it. I'm neutral.
I don't like it for young dogs. I like it for older dogs that are already holding their bladder 3 or 4 hours and they're ringing it every 3 to 4 hours.
Yeah. Anyway, that's not our question. What I would say is take this, when he goes and sits by the door, say, good job, pause at door, let's go outside. And that puppy gets 1 to 2 minutes. That's it. Because even if he does need to pee, he can get distracted. I would also consider just clipping a leash on flat collar real quick, right before you go outside. You're not using it to pull the dog around a lot because it's only 11 weeks old. And we don't do that on flat collar anyway. A harness would be too much, it'd just be too much. So just reach down, slip leash on real quick, or clip a leash to flat collar. That way you can control the movement more. That way he's not like, woohoo, let me run around the yard for 60 seconds before I think about doing anything.
Zoomy mode and then pee.
Yeah, exactly. Because that definitely happens. It's not going to just happen to you. It happens to everybody. Keep that in mind, but I agree with you. I don't want to discourage it either. I would like to give the puppy the chance, but I want to create more urgency. So it's sit or stand. Maybe your puppy's not sitting yet, and that's okay at the door. But clip leash, pause, open door, let's go. 60 seconds to 2 minutes to sniff around one area of the yard while you kind of stand still mostly. And then it's like, okay, back inside. And if the puppy has an accident right away, then you learn something from it. They needed a little bit more time. Or maybe put them back in crate for a few minutes for their system to settle before taking them out again. You'll adjust and learn. But anyway, hopefully that gives you an idea. You want to do some short ones?
I have some Instagram questions coming in too.
Cool.
I'll get those.
Duna RL. Is that Duna in real life?
I have no idea.
Oh.
Duna. I'm trying to see it.
No. You gotta hold it already. Okay. What should I do if my puppy starts eating her own poop for getting my attention? Yes, Hannah, give me that one. Then check.
Yes. Go ahead, answer.
For getting my attention. So, actually, that's a pretty smart thing. Not many people realize that the puppies might be doing that to get their attention. A lot of times puppies will do that because they realize that when the dog poops and you go towards it to pick it up, and then they pick it up, you kind of,
Oh, Dusty, sorry.
Dusty's like, no, please no, I don't do it anymore. No, he may never have done it.
Dakota used to.
I knew one of them did it.
Yeah.
If anytime I have my puppy eating poop, I got to get him on a tighter structure schedule, similar to what my least one just said it. Oh, Bethany, let me go.
I took it. I know. I'm so sorry.
Build your way up to a better structure schedule, and if this is happening inside the house in like a playpen, then give them more opportunity outside. If this is happening outside, they have to wear a leash, guys. You gotta take them out there. If it's a young puppy, I don't have an age, so I'm gonna assume 12-week to 16-week-old puppy. You nudging me?
He's nudging, yeah.
Oh, he was nudging. I thought you nudged me.
No.
Take them out. You can carry them if you need to prevent any eating or like potty accidents ahead of time. Set them in their area. Hold them on leash, on a slack leash. But I hold 6 foot. When they hit the end of it, I put a little bit of pressure, just kind of bring them back into my bubble. They eventually poop, and then I'm guiding them away. I've already got the bag on one hand, and I'm picking it up. Good, slack, treat, feed. If you guys are still doing, hey bud, yeah. If you guys are still doing treats, a lot of it is just preventative. You could look it up, and people will say there's 20 different ways. Put coprofage in it, pineapple juice. All of that is basically just a way of making so they don't want to eat it. Some puppies
still eat it. Yeah.
Some dogs just do. It's a delectable treat to some of these guys.
And then it becomes a habit. I would say if it's happening in a playpen scenario, you have to get rid of the potty pads in the playpen. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. Always on leash.
Yeah, always on leash or in crate.
But also, if you're getting it in the playpen area, maybe you're giving too much freedom after a free time that didn't get a potty.
Yeah.
So if I have a 7 a.m. wake up and my dog goes out, and I'm like, yeah, like 85% they poop at 7 a.m. when they wake up when I take them out. And then one morning they don't, and I'm like, oh, no. Back in the crate for another 10, 15 minutes for a young dog, 15 to 30 minutes for a dog 6 months and older, and then I'll take them back out after a little bit of time and give them another opportunity. I'll do that literally, rinse and repeat until I get that poop.
Yep.
And that's only if I know they normally poop at that time with a high consistency. 2 p.m., 7 p.m., you guys know your dog's schedule better than we do, but getting them on a schedule is how you help prevent that. And then maybe you get to keep the playpen, or maybe you can't do any of it and they're doing multiple poops and you do it Bethany's side.
I have to say this real quick. It's so common if you ask a trainer or a vet this question for them to first say, check in with your dog's diet, because a lot of times puppies will eat their poop because they're missing something from their diet. And I'm sure that is true some of the time.
Scientifically true.
But honestly, what we see more often is they just do it a few times because maybe they are missing a mineral, but then it's just a habit and it's fun and it's a treat. Like
we got to make mention too. Sometimes they hide it. If you've punished your puppy for pooping nose, bad dog, no. And the common old school way is rubbing their nose in it. Now you have a dog that's going to hide the poop. They hide it away.
I've come across. Can you not do stuff like that? So I've also come across older dogs that will eat their poop if they poop in their area, and it's because they don't want poop in their area. And then Dakota eats poop the same reason my last German Shepherd ate poop. She was very malnourished when we got her from a rescue, and so she ate it as a habit, and then even when she had an amazing diet, it was still a habit. It's like, oh, now it's a treat. Before I needed it because I was super skinny and malnourished, and now it's a treat. So my last 2 shepherds from a rescue did that too. And so there could be a number of reasons, so don't be too hard on yourself. But at the end of the day, if it's a puppy under 5 months old, you've got to just be really on top of it to prevent the habit aspect from really taking hold. Okay, cool.
Beautiful. Melanie! Ooh, I like this one. I have little kids and my puppy always associates them with rough play / biting. Make it stop. Oh, Melanie, you came to the right place. So let me ask this. Do your kids rough play with the puppy?
Do they run around the yard and have the puppy chase them?
Is there crazy high energy play with no training because they're younger kids? This is all questions you have to ask yourself. If
we're not trying to be mean, this is what we see in homes all the time.
Oh, you're right. We're kind of layering on top of each other.
Yeah,
we're not picking on
you.
We're picking on everyone.
But it's a generalization. This is what we always see. I'm like, well, how do they have you? And again, I'm not trying to be mean, but this is just common in our field. It's like, well, have you taught your kids how to calmly engage your puppy and work with your puppy, because the kids take just as much training, if not more, than the dog, and most of the time the answer is no. So that's why we're going into this.
Preventatives. Puppy goes on leash. If puppy is outside playing with the kids, you're out there with them. There's no unsupervised play, especially if puppy already associates them with rough play. Not only are we gauging the puppy back, we're also gauging the kids to help them be a little bit more respectful of what you guys are building with the puppy. Calm, happy family dog means calm puppy in the beginning, and then you layer on good, positive, reinforcing play, which is like fetch. I know what you're going to say.
I'm dying.
Which is like fetch, bringing it back, asking them to sit, having a leash on, adding a little bit of pressure to help them drop the toy, making them wait, pause, throw the toy and fetch. Go, Bethany, go.
Okay. So first of all, you want to teach your dogs how to touch your puppy. You don't touch an excited puppy. You only touch the puppy when they're not jumping up or nipping you. And how you touch the puppy is you stay away from the head and the ears. You go at the body. So you practice with your kids. And I'm going to do the head just so you guys can see. But it's calm, slow fingers. And talk to your kids. I don't know how young they are, but if they're young kids, it's like, okay, talk like this. Nice and calm, nice and soothing. And they'll do this, or they'll do the hesitant that. So you have to really practice with them and tell them to stay away from the head and the ears. It creates stimulation and biting and nipping. That's the first thing, and then you're on top of them all the time for that. Oh, don't pet Oscar. He's too excited.
What
don't
you pet is
right
what
now.
you get.
Yeah, but I'm turning to kids' terms. Okay. So, and then the other thing is when the puppy is too excited, teach them to be a tree and fold in their limbs. So they have to stand completely still, fold in their limbs. If your kid is over 7, teach your kid how to say no to your puppy. Not yell it, not be emotional, but go ahead and start teaching a clean no. And freeze and ask a mom or ask a parent for help. I'm sorry, Dusty.
That's the key factor. Ask a parent for help.
I'm not done.
Okay, sorry.
And then the other thing is you want to have a schedule for your kids, because kids get really antsy. When can I pet the puppy? When can I play with the puppy? So have a schedule for your kids that says so and so time. Tommy and Ryan can spend 3 minutes doing food work with the puppy and then pet the calm puppy. So you give them food and you teach them how to do come and sit, and you really make it a process. Like I said, you're teaching the kids as much as the puppy. And then when it comes to the fetch that he mentioned, even though he's right, first you're going to have to reshape how the puppy looks at the kids. So there's no play for a while. You need to teach your puppy how to play with a toy appropriately for a couple of weeks, then try to teach your kids how to do that. It may just not work, I'll be honest. But there's never any play with the puppy. It's always play with a toy. So the dog is learning to target a toy, not your kid's arms.
I'm curious what kind of dog it is too. If it's like a mini Aussie or a standard Aussie, it's
if
probably
it's a border
never
collie,
running.
I'm always having to watch him. He's 12 years old, and if I leave him alone with kids and they start going, ah, ha, 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 he immediately stands very still. And as soon as they walk away, he's on their heels. And if they run, he will nip them and hump them. And he's 12 years old and very well trained. He's one of the most well-trained dogs I've ever had. He does herding, he's off leash, he helps me rehab aggressive dogs, and that is his nature. That's his instinct that I'm always having to keep an eye on. So not to make excuses for your dog's behavior, but you do have to keep in mind some of those things as well. There may always need to be heavy supervision. Okay, I think we're done. Do you have anything?
We got to do a parental warning for this episode now.
Do you have anything to add?
No,
I was so ready. I was like,
more than enough. That was great.
Okay.
Yeah, breed does matter though. You should Google your breed and Google any dogs you're thinking about getting. If you have young kids, usually I say Aussies aren't the greatest dogs in the beginning for young children. They're better for like middle-aged kids. 14, 15, right around there. Okay, Nancy. Should my puppy have all its shots before they begin training in a formal group environment?
I'm gonna look at my phone.
Honestly, I don't know too much about shots. You know more about shots?
I have my opinion.
Stop. Okay, Bethany can't do it. Ricky, just answer it.
Give me your mic. See what we do.
I'm going to tell you what I know, and then Ricky can correct everything. So we do 2 rounds of shots for. Is that play? No, you should just answer this
It's
one.
3 rounds. 3 rounds of boosters before they play and they can walk outside, right?
Yes, apply and wait for
My office side handles all this.
And for approval from the owner and the vet and all that. However,
They can start after 2 rounds.
they can start after 2 rounds.
There's no dog interaction.
There's just no dog interactions and things like that. However, if you know a dog is vaccinated, you should go ahead and start. It's a calm dog around puppies, and you know it's vaccinated, you can go ahead and do that. You need to get your puppy out in the world before it's 16 weeks old. So you've got a couple of options. I like to say 1 to 2 rounds of boosters, just so there's at least something in the system, and then you can have your puppy in a carry-on, and then you can teach place. I don't care if you take a blanket from the house, if you want to be crazy diligent, but you need to go to the park on concrete, stay off of public grass, and work your puppy on clean concrete. It does matter. The area that you live in does matter cleanliness-wise. And or put a tarp down, a blanket down. There's no excuses. Get your puppy out there, take a cot, work on place and come for 10 to 15 minutes as they hear the birds or the traffic or watch people walk by. It's so important to find a way to get your puppy out there. There are even classes in some areas. I used to host them where they only had to have 1 round of boosters, and we all were in this sanitized area, and we even wore little booties on our feet and washed our hands, and that way we could work with our puppies in an environment. We would play noises during class as the puppies were working on sitting down, like traffic, YouTube noises, things like that, and they got to be around people and dogs. My point is just that do not wait and lock your dog up into their house. I've even heard that say.
Otherwise, we'll see you on our wait list.
Yeah, I've even heard that say. I've come across this before, where they say wait till they've had their rabies shot, which is sometimes 5 months old. And it breaks my heart. You have to understand that vets have to cover their behind. So if they say, oh yeah, it's no big deal, 2 rounds of boosters, they're pretty good, just stay in a clean area, and then your dog gets parvo, and that's on them. So give them some leeway. They gotta cover themselves. But take it from us, you gotta find a way to be responsible and get your puppy out there. Okay, we should move on.
What is the best age to start formal puppy training?
Day 1.
Yeah, okay, but we need to break that down more. So stop it. So usually day 1 of owning a puppy is when you start at home training. And guys, remember, that's also why we made our online program. Stop it, go sit down. That's also why we made our online program, because some dogs aren't old enough to go into facilities, and this is a really great way of getting you guys started. You can find it on puppyacademy.com, online section. But that's our
shameless plug.
That is a great way of starting your puppy early before they can get into a facility or formal training group. Usually I'll say about 12 to 16 weeks, maybe 14 to 16 weeks, I'll try to get into an actual program. That way they're fully vaccinated. And a lot of programs will do them early, where even if they don't have the rabies, they just won't socialize them yet. But all you're doing is trying to get them into this group setting or this training facility setting, so they start learning how to cope with all of the things that life is going to throw at them. Learning how to do place in a controlled but busy setting. That's everything. That's the exposure that you're looking for. So my number is about 12 to 16 weeks for an actual facility. You can do younger if the facility is like super on top of it, like we are here at Puppy Academy. I mean, we take dogs as early as 8 weeks, but we are like regimented. 10 weeks. 10 weeks. I'm just kidding, 10 weeks. But we are extremely regimented on what puppies get to say hi to what puppies are by themselves. You got to make sure the facility cares about that. You can usually look it up through reviews. If facilities have a lot of parvo going through them, they're going to be in their Yelp reviews, so check it out.
I forgot to mention for the last lady, and anybody with puppies, if you do take your puppy outside, you stay away from public water sources.
Oh God!
And even water. Sorry, what I meant by that is like even a little bit of standing water on the ground. Run for the hills.
Yeah, it's like parvo central. The water bowls that you hit a button and it fills up that little mini water bowl. It's like asking for trouble. Some dogs are prone to getting it too.
When you go to the dog park, you're gonna get giardia.
Don't go to the dog park.
Don't go to the dog park. Sorry, what were you saying?
Get dog friends.
Get dog friends. Okay.
He's pointing at your questions. She's like, let's look up more.
Yes, we're gonna do those. One more thing about the formal training thing. So I would the formal training. Please don't wait. Please. The moment your puppy comes home, the first 24 hours of how you interact with your puppy, that sets your relationship. They make that association with you. So if your first 24 hours, you're like, oh, he's so sweet, come here for food, and lots of cuddling and snuggling and just high-end, excited, yay, food work. And then a week later, when they're comfortable and they're chewing the crap out of your arm and you try to say no, they're not going to believe you.
They don't care.
And then you really need our class. So anyway, just keep that in mind, is that puppies are usually stressed, and so that first 24 hours to 36 hours, you're going to have a plan. If my puppy's nervous, I'm going to leave him be some and just let him kind of hang out. If my puppy's really driven, I'll start working right away. How much is my family going to give affection to this puppy? Like family meeting, like you guys just need a plan is all I'm saying. I like to say for the formal training that just kind of keep in mind the first 2 years of owning a dog, you're going to need to just be in classes regularly or group hikes or something to keep them going. And they change so much, and they change rapidly. Like 18 years of having a kid is 2 years, the first 2 years of having a dog. So just keep that in mind. That's what we like to say. Even though I did my own personal, it's still, the questions still aren't coming up.
Really?
For me. Yeah, so weird.
You probably did it late.
Maybe they've got like
Can you
settings
just
or
repeat
something.
the question a bit?
Yes, I noticed you could hear it.
From Mary Claire, I live in an apartment and my 5-month-old Goldendoodle keeps barking when my neighbors walk by if we are outside. How can I make her more comfortable with people walking by?
So 5-month-old Goldendoodle, apartment, barking at people, walking outside. Sparky, go.
You lovely
Go
human
ahead.
being, you.
Go ahead. This is the hardest thing, guys. But Sparky can fix it.
Honestly, I teach a solid place command, and most dogs that bark, it's because they have the freedom to bark. They're not controlled in any way inside the home, and I'm not saying that you don't control your puppy in the home. Maybe you did a lot of really great training with them,
So
but they
hard.
need
So hard in an apartment.
they need more. They need leash on. They need redirection. They need training on place, like a really, really strong place. Dog barks. No. Dog come, place, sit down.
Even before,
Good.
like, and what you want to try to do is even before that was when you hear keys. This is what's so hard about apartment training. When you hear keys down the hallway,
They said
look
dogs.
Look at. I know, but just when the dog hears noises, it's going to start reacting. And I don't know if it said dogs, but anyway, they'll start to associate like the jingle of keys with tags, and they'll it just, you know what? When you hear something, anything down the hallway, even if it's just someone taking a step, your dog little ears go, oh, what is that? Before they get to make a decision about how they feel about that noise, try to do what he said, which is come
Influencing the
in
decision.
place.
I
Yeah,
like that.
try to catch everything early so they just start to associate that. I don't care if you gotta have like a little thing of treats nearby or something. It's a very hard thing to do. I would say you could also, 5 months old, it's a little young, but you could also try like a pet corrector noise, like squirt air, just to try to interrupt the dog when they're barking or about to bark and very intense. But then you do that redirection right away. If you don't practice, come place, come place, come place, that is what you said, right? Because I was thinking about what I was going to say.
Yes, but with the leash too.
Okay, and with the leash, yes. So
Leash is important.
Dragging around the leash, very important. When you do that, make sure that you're practicing that a lot. So when you do a pet corrector squirt, or you're just like, hey, something.
Which is an interrupter.
Interrupter.
It's not
yeah.
correction, it's interruption.
Interrupter. Some dogs are nervous at it though, so then it's kind of a correction. But anyway, you're going to call the dog back and put in
Probably
place.
shouldn't be using it for those dogs right now.
Call the dog back, put in place, and that's been practiced over and over and over again in a really easy, fun way as well. So you have to have that redirect. It's really, really important. It's a tough thing because it's a very genetic primal instinct for some dogs to bark at noises. And because you're hitting that stride so early at 5 months old, it's going to be a bit of a tough one for you.
We have a dog that will lay on place and still bark from place, but I already know she'll get in trouble if she gets off. Will look at us, bark, and then look at us again because she knows she's in trouble. In situations like that, we actually have to walk her opposite from the noise up and down our hallway and work her through the situation. Different training tools, whatever you guys want to use. If you're still struggling with it even then, hire someone that does behavioral modification trainer to come in and see if maybe the problem's a little bit deeper. Maybe it's
Could be confidence
anxiety,
issues.
fear and anxiety, which is
Yeah.
leading to the confidence issues. Not overconfidence, the other direction.
I meant to mention that because it might not just be territorial instincts. It could be from discomfort, and so there's tons of ways you should be building confidence outside.
And don't let them work it out.
Yeah, don't let them work
They
it
don't
out.
work it out.
Any other questions on here?
I think we're out of time.
All right.
No, we have one from TikTok. We gotta do one TikTok one. Don't leave me hanging.
Hello?
Okay, I have a question. What's a way to teach my dog the habit of not eating food that falls?
Not eating food that falls.
Leave it.
We
already taught it.
earlier we had a question on leave it. So if you watch this playback, we go over because it was a dog that was going after an onion on the floor, and the family didn't know how to control that. So when this gets reposted, go to there's actual timestamps of the questions, and so check that out and check out the question on leave it, and that will answer this question.
Can they do that on TikTok? Rewatch a video that we repost?
You have to go to Instagram.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think you can do it through TikTok.
Sorry, TikTok. If you're like 15 years old, Instagram is like this other social media platform that people also watch, not just TikTok.
Did you just condescend to 50-year-olds?
15.
Oh, I thought you said 50.
No,
Bethany,
15.
that's so un-PC.
15 years old, because they don't even know what Facebook is.
So
They're like,
un-PC.
Facebook? What's Facebook? Anyway, it's on Instagram. Sorry about that, the Puppy Academy, and bye everyone.
See you guys.